Hey, what's up you guys? Today I'll be showing you my first car-themed PC build. And this is for a client who really loves Porsches, and I decided to upgrade his current gaming rig, which looked like this, to this. And before we jump into the cinematic build sequence, I'm going to go over the parts list, what's being used, what's being upgraded, and the list will also be down in the description below. So first off, his now previous gaming rig was centered around a 12700K and a 3090 Kingpin from EVGA. For the upgrade, I told him his current core components are absolutely no joke at all by modern standards. So we wanted to save money and retain as many of the parts as we could and upgrade areas that made sense. The parts we will be keeping will be the Intel 12700K, as I saw there was very little benefit from upgrading to a 12900K unless he was doing something other than gaming, which he isn't. 32GB of Ballistix DDR4 RAM from Crucial, a Samsung 980 Pro 2TB SSD, and I'll also be adding a second 2TB 980 Pro to that system, just in case he wants to add more games to his library, bringing up the total system storage capacity to 4TB. The motherboard we'll also be keeping is the ROG Strix Z690A Gaming Wi-Fi D4, as well as the Kingpin 3090 by EVGA. The GPU is a hybrid system that has an attached 360mm AIO liquid cooler, along with a fan for air cooling within the shroud. Now, the Kingpin cards are very rare to get, and not many brands actually make water blocks for them, so one of the few that do is Optimus Cooling. I went ahead and assembled this block off camera because the Kingpin card was somewhat challenging to take apart, and I wanted to focus on that instead of filming the whole process. So here it is, ready to go. Power supply in his previous system was originally an 850W GR series by EVGA, but we're upgrading that to CORSAIR's HX1200 watts for some extra overclocking headroom. Custom PSU cables are from SoloSleeving, which are sleeved with super flexible paracord material and colored in plain white to match the build theme, as well as a neutral color for future reusability with this high-end power supply in any colored theme system. Let's dive into the cooling solution. The pre-built system he had was running an NZXT Kraken Z73 AIO liquid CPU cooler mounted with Leon Lee's white uni fans on the radiators of the Kingpin 3090 and the Kraken Z73. There were also two case fans mounted up at the top, which I can't really tell what they are in this picture, but they are not the same. So aesthetically, everything in this pre-built system just didn't line up. Aside from the Kingpin 3090 water block by Optimus, I kept the rest of the cooling solutions with EK, going with one of the new Velocity-2 CPU water blocks, a PE360mm radiator which will be mounted at the front panel, an FLT120 flat reservoir, gold quantum fittings to match the Porsche emblem, 14mm acrylic tubes, and the three fans cooling this entire open air system would be the Noctua NFA12x25 in black. The coolant I'm using for the system is EK's CryoFuel Blood Red Premix. I didn't want to use opaque coolants as those tend to have a history of building up residue and eventually clog loops. Transparent and clear coolants in general will overall be much easier on maintenance while prolonging the lifespan of the system. The case itself is going from Leon Lee's Odyssey X tower, which I don't have another picture of for his previous build, and going into the AZZA Cast white. One of the feedbacks I got from the client was that the Odyssey X was too big, so I chose the AZZA case not just out of addressing and reducing the size a bit, but also for aesthetic themed purposes. Porsche is not a very flashy luxury car brand. If you were to look at Porsches, they're very subtle on the outside, like if you were to compare it to Italian cars, like Lamborghinis. Now of course you can mod Porsches or any car to make them look crazy, but that's not the point. So I really try to focus on this idea when building this rig. Now I also stopped by a local Porsche dealership here in Las Vegas to pick up a Porsche emblem for the PC case. Additionally, I removed the front main panel on the AZZA case to give more unobstructed airflow, and also used the Overkill 360mm fan grille from MNPC Tech, which are CNC aluminum in matte black, to give it just a bit more pop with the fans but not quite over the top. Alright, let's jump into the build. Okay, I do want to wrap up this video by talking about open air cases versus closed cases, because I get comments and hate all the time about how dusty open air cases and builds can get, and people simply won't do it just for that reason. And I want to show you guys that that's actually a big misconception. Open air cases and closed cases get dusty all the same and just as frequent. The difference and advantage of open air cases is that it's actually a lot easier and faster to clean. Because all you have to do is take your open air case outside, take compressed air and blow it in a few directions and you're done. But with closed cases, you have to take off all the panels, the dust filter, you have to blow and clean the components, the fans, the crevices and the corners within the case. And then you also have to clean the panels themselves and the dust filter, put all of those back onto the case. And then if you have a tempered glass, you probably have to wipe that down because you most likely touched all over it when you're taking it on and off. And just overall, it takes a lot more steps and time. Another advantage of open air builds like this is you do have more freedom of fan orientation. You don't have to worry about internal case pressures or which direction air is flowing, really. You just have to make sure enough air goes through your radiators or heat sinks. That's it. In my honest opinion, I think the only downside of having an open air case is if you have certain free roaming pets, like cats, dogs, birds, rodents that like to stick their paws in things, then that's when I would recommend a closed case system. But you all have different living situations, so just consider the points I mentioned and use your best judgment of what's right for you. I really just wanted to tackle the idea that open air cases are harder to maintain or get dustier than closed cases, which is not true. Okay, that's all I have for now. Let me know what your thoughts are about anything covered in this video down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.